Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Charity First Handicapping Chat. Excuse me. I'm all excited. What a fantastic day we have here today. Of course, the Bob B. Lewis is the big race of the day. And whenever I think of Bob and Beverly Lewis, I think of Charismatic and Chris Anley holding up that leg, and pretty iconoclastic picture. Big race today. Bob Baffer's got bookends in that race. Doug O'Neill's got a couple. Very contentious race. Very exciting day today as we have as our guests two stalwarts in the handicapping scene and the tournament scene, and they are some of the best handicappers in the country. So we're really, really honored to have them as guests today. Chappie, how you doing today on this beautiful Saturday where the rains have staved off?
I'm doing great. It's cleared up. We should have some good Derby preps today around the country. Couple of big races here at Santa Anita, and this is the final weekend of round one for the Charity First Handicapping Challenge, and we saved a couple of the best for last. That's right.
Yeah, we're anchoring our teams.
That's right.
All right. Well, as you guys know, we're raising money for charity here, and the charity is Karma to take care of these fine, incredible equine athletes after they retire. And if any of our charges here today, whether it be my man Craig or Mr. Bennis, turns their bankroll of $300 into over $1,000, then we'll give an additional $500 to Karma. So they're going to be swinging for the fences. They're going to give us great insight, and hopefully we'll get you guys a bunch of winners and have this entertaining. I want to introduce my guest. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for decades. One of my best friends, I have to say, without question. And one of the best handicappers in the country. I think he's qualified for the NHC, I don't know, Craig, like 16 times in a row, 18 times in a row, something like that.
Well, it's always like the Chicago Cubs. I have that syndrome right now. Wait till next year.
Wait till next year. All right. But he's qualified at least that I know 16 times in a row. He's also one of the founding fathers of poker. I mean, he was around when Mike Sexton and Doyle Brunson, when they were really inventing what we know now today as these great big poker tournaments. He was one of the ones that helped, initiate that. So been around gambling a lot. He's a wonderful handicapper. He's got two beautiful grandkid twins that are spectacular, and hopefully he's going to bring it today and take them down. Welcome to the show, Craig.
Thanks for having me, George and Chappie. And you said swinging for the fences, but I think with today's card, the fences were drawn into about to the second base side.
I'm glad you said it.
Chappie?
Yeah, my guess, Jim, let me tell you, before this year, because of the pandemic and everything, I can give you a couple months in the life of Jim Bennis. He goes to the weekends, he goes to Hawthorne. He goes to the weekend, he goes to Hawthorne. He flies out here, wins a tournament, comes back home, Hawthorne, flies to California, wins a tournament. All the guy does is win. He's even wearing a winning shirt today. Chicago Cubs. My man, Jim Bennis. What's happening, Jim?
I'm not too sure about this winning crap lately, though. It's been a long drought.
And I'll tell you one thing, George, before we get started, Jim is not going to like this because, I told you he's won a couple of contests. I've been promising to send him some of these big checks that have never quite gotten mailed to Jim. No. One of these days, they're coming, Jim, I promise, because he doesn't want to take him on the plane.
All right, for you guys that may not know, the format is each of our handicappers is going to have $300 in mythical money. They're going to be able to bet $100 to win on one horse throughout the card. Then they're going to have $100 in Exacta. They can either bet a straight $100 Exacta or two $50 Exactas. And then they're going to have $100 to play with in a daily double. They can either play a straight $100 daily double or two $50 daily doubles. And again, if they turn that money into some real money, over $1,000, we'll be donating an additional $500 in addition to the money we're already donating to Karma. So we're hoping for the best for them, and we're hoping for a nice day here at Santa Anita. We're going to start with you, Craig. You got $100 to win on one horse today. Where are you going and why?
Okay, let me go. Gotta find it. Okay, my $100 bet today to win is the loudmouth. I'm not talking about myself, but it's six furlongs. It's only a 5-horse race, so only have to beat 4 horses. So I'm trying to be a little conservative here. He's ran. Sorry about that. I'm looking at my notes right now. Oh, Santa Anita, at least he's won twice at Santa Anita, 6 times all around. So he looks like a win bet candidate. And I'm sticking with the loudmouth today in the 6th race to win my $100 bet.
All right, over there on the screen it says race number 2, Canadian Ginger, but that's I guess.
No, you're right. Sorry.
What?
I got so many best bets here. I can't even keep up with it.
If I lose this contest, it should be an investigation.
Okay, Canadian Ginger. Another 6-horse race. That's right. That's my $100 bet. Okay, now Canadian Ginger. He was my mud special 3 days ago. 2 days ago, he was my mud special. I thought I looked at his, what is that? Reading the book with the Agassiz or something like that, how they call it. Look at all the back. He was a terrific mudder, but ain't going to do any good for his mud breeding. But he's got to beat Tiz Coffee, and I'm not even afraid of Tiz Coffee, so we'll worry about the rest of the horse. Yes, my $100 win bet is on race 2, number 2, Canadian Ginger.
All right. Not the loudmouth, but we're saving him.
I thought he was calling about you, George. Loudmouth.
I'm going to loudmouth. All right, Canadian Ginger in race number 2. In that race, for you guys that are tuning in for the first time, number 3, Swirling, is scratched. So it's a 5-horse field there as the Swirling is out, which could have been a factor. Swirling had plenty of speed, but he's going Canadian Ginger to win 2 in a row, and hopefully we'll get the early lead here in race number 2. Over to you, Chappie.
All right, Jim, I think we are possibly going head-to-head right off the bat. Is that correct? What's your win bet and why?
We got a real contest going on here.
Woo!
So my logic was there was plenty of speed. Unfortunately, I did this before the scratches. But regardless, you go to Rosario, you can't go wrong. I'm hoping the 4 just sits right behind the 1 and 2, and then Rosario does what he always does, goes right on by. He's the third favorite in the race, and hopefully he goes off that.
Like you said, there's some speed in the race still. I mean, obviously with Swirling scratching out, that takes away a little bit of the speed, but Rosario very patient. And Steve Knapp, he's winning in bunches again. Steve Knapp's having another solid meet. And 2-1 on the morning line. I like it, and I love that we're going head-to-head right off the bat, George.
Well, obviously, me and Jim, next time he's in L.A., we got to go for dinner on this one. Heads-up match is it's going to be 2 in and 1 out.
That's right.
2 in the cage, and 1's only going to come out. So either you or me in the first. We'll have somebody will have the lead in the second race unless somebody splits us up.
Sounds good. Sounds like the beer game.
That's right.
Craig was talking about mudders, and I remember in Hialeah, I bet a runner in the mud. I think it was Crypto Clearance ran there, and there's been some great mudders through the course of the years. I know Seattle Slew is one of my favorites. Love the mud. Is there a mudder, Craig, that sticks out to you as like, wow, this is one of my favorite mudders?
Well, this shirt here is 30 years old, and my mudder ran before the shirt was made. And it was River Bowie. This horse ran second to Quack in, I think, the 1972 San Bernardino Handicap. And this horse was just like a 10,000 claimer. He moved, but they knew this horse had sensational mud breeding, or he just ran a lot of great races in the mud back then. And if anybody remembers the mud, they used to circle horses and give it an X in the middle for superior mud. The racing form used to wrote that.
Right.
For you minials, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But they had I remember a horse called Wingover. He had that circle, and And I don't even think DRF has it in his archives right now, but that was a great mutter, and there was many more, but
wasn't
that one
Damascus a very good mud sire? Damascus, is that correct? Or I used to have that book as well. Jim, do you remember any names off the top of your head?
Yeah, but I got a horrible memory. I know there's a couple. No,
Sires was Sire was Crafty Prospector. This horse.
Oh yeah, that one. Right, I remember that.
That horse. A lot of horses came out of that as the mud breeding, and there was a horse called Sir Skizak and stuff like that. All the old ones. So nobody knows. I can't. Yeah, it's easy to look in the form. Before in the form, they never had the little mud line here, and now you can see a mud line 2 for 2, 3 for 3. So the DRF helps you a lot.
I've got a quick question for both of you, Jim. If we could start with you, because both of you guys, the way I know Jim, you're very patient. It's people like George and myself, we like to bet every race, and I know that you can. I've been around Jim, and Jim will sit here when he comes out to Santa Anita, and even he's on a road trip, and maybe not even make one bet all day. I mean, what are the keys? Some of the keys to success, Jim, and what are your favorite types of bets as well?
I mean, you have to be patient, unfortunately, now. Back in the 80s and 90s, you didn't have to be because it was 10, 12 horses, and there was always value to be found. Now with the shorter fields, it's hard to find value. And, I mean, I'm not one of those people. I certainly don't play the pick fours, pick fives. I suck at those. I'm good at, trying to key in on one race if I'm good. But, yeah, I mean, it's hard now. It's really hard now. You got to be patient. You got to find the right spot, and hopefully you can find a bet against. That's usually the best case when you can bet against bad favorites. So that's
what are your thoughts, Craig?
Well, I was going to be a doctor, but I didn't have the patience. So we'll start from there. But it's like just because you got the Super Bowl doesn't mean you really have to bet it. You might find a better bet betting the Lions against the Bears one day.
Okay,
so you got to pick and choose your thing, and low patience, wait for the right bet. And yeah, you don't have to bet every race, or you try to. The good values, I like daily doubles, because I like a 10-to-1 shot, I'll take the race before. That way I don't have to, if I'm live to it, I usually don't have to bet the doubles straight up. So for value that way.
Georgie?
All right, let's try to find some value in the Exacta. Craig, you got $100 to work with, or two $50 Exactas. Where are you going and why?
Oh, let me get my papers out here. This time I don't want to make a mistake.
All right. I'm sure it has something to do with loudmouth.
The fourth race,
Right, no?
I'm going to do the $50 Exacta box 2-3, and I actually like the 3 better than 2. I'm taking a shot there. You look at the 3 horse looking to get even, and you right off the bat, he says, well, this is a turf horse. But then you look at that race, he's off the turf. He ran again. Anybody know a horse called Harvest Moon? Well, that Harvest Moon's a pretty darn good horse, and he ran second, or she ran second to that horse in that race. So I got quite a good feeling that this horse can run in the mud, and or not the mud. I had it marked for mud, but run in the dirt very fine. And I'm more worried about Tiz T. But I'm going to box the $50, my $50 box 2-3 fourth race.
All right, $50 box in the fourth race, going a mile. Yeah, looking to get even. Certainly that one dirt race was pretty good. Tiz T, a lot of people are going to see him running second against winners, taking a big drop to not only maiden special weight, but maiden optional claiming with a little bit of a dip even lower. So I'm sure this T is going to take a lot of action as well. But 2-3 looks like a good Exacta, and maybe we're going to be burying Jim in the mud. We're talking about mud. We're going to put Jim in the mud with that one. We're going to take the lead. Go ahead, Chappie.
Absolutely no shot. Jim, where are you going with your Exacta and why?
I'm actually betting the same race I bet the win bet on, because I think there's such few opportunities, and I'm using Craig's 2 horse behind a 4, a 4-2 for 100 straight.
Okay, so Georgie, we've got a lot of our shekels early here riding on Lady on Ice, because not only is he betting the win bet, there is no box involved. We have a lot of confidence. We're bet with confidence. Straight exacta 4-2. So after race 2, we should be loaded up on the front end when the 4 rallies from off the pace to pick up the pieces and win for Joel Rosario. George?
Well, if Jim's not running too good, let me go run and bet a 2-4 exacta.
That's probably a good idea.
We're gonna put Canadian Ginger's gonna put Lady on Ice on ice. We're gonna take that race and we're gonna take a big lead right there. All right, Craig.
The race will be a cooler.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an omen. I just got beat at Gulfstream. I had the 4. The 2 ran by me, and at Gulfstream they didn't.
That's
foreshadowing. Funny. Hopefully not, Jim.
Good. Craig, I know that you couple of things that you love. You love the Thoroughgraph sheets, and you love trip handicapping. So you love looking at races. You probably spend a lot of time looking at replays to try to get your picks. Is that right?
Well, it only took me 8 hours to look at 8 races at Santa Anita with 5-horse races. So I guess it does take a little time. Now you got you can watch the head on, and I'm more of a trip handicapper than anything else, is looking for find horses that I don't like favorites. You see the horse got a favorite trip, or he's got a lone F trip. Nobody's doing it. He's walking around at 48-2, and now he's 2-1 in his next race when he won by 4 lengths. Well, I'm against that horse. And just the opposite. If I got my horse, the 12 horse, and there's 4 horses going across the track at the half a mile, and now today he looks like a lone F, and he ran about 8th last time. He died out. Now I'm on that horse. I'll get 10-1 on value for that one. So yeah, a lot of trip handicapping I do because that's what I do.
Jim, you watch a lot. Surprisingly, Jim, you only play Southern California, correct? And you watch a lot of replays as well and take a lot of notes, don't you?
Endlessly, yeah. Every horse, every race.
And you strictly play the Southern California circuit?
Only because I had to leave Chicago because it was so bad out here.
Georgie?
All right, so Craig Kaufman established that he hates betting on favorites, and today he proved it because in the second race he's got the 7-5 shot, and in the first race he's got the 4-5 shot. So it's pretty clear to me that he just is adverse to betting those damn favorites because he.
Like I said, George, Santa Anita brought the fences in today. You're talking about value. I'm just trying
to. The dogs are out.
Jim, I like it because George has already turned on his own teammate.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, let's move on. We have a daily double here, Craig. Either $100 straight daily double or 2 $50 doubles. Where are you going and why?
Well, who's the biggest chalk left now?
Let's look for
Let's see, daily double. It was race 5 and 6. Let me get okay. Well, I found the 2 chalks there. All right, race 5, I'm going to use $50 doubles with the 2-4. That's Idle and Express Train. Going to, we already know who I'm going to. He's the last chalk left. The last chalk standing of the day. So I had to make sure I didn't miss him out.
A good thing they're not in school today because there wouldn't be any chalk left for the teachers to use.
Right. Exactly. I'm the teacher's going to make me eat all the chalk today.
All right. So for you guys tuning in, if you look through your program and the morning line has a slash through it, then Craig's got that one. And we're gonna go. We're swinging for those fences that have been drawn in, pretty close.
Right, so it's hard to swing for a fence when I'm bunting.
He's bunting.
You can hit every bet you made, and you still won't get up to the 1,000.
That's what I told him. That's why I said the fences were moved in today. When he said $1,000, there's no way. I'm hoping to turn in 300 to break even.
He went 3 for 3. He won $180. All right, Jim. Jim, where you go with your double and why, my friend?
I went to the 7th race. I wanted to be like Craig for a second, so I used the 2 favorites in the first half, the 1 and 4. But then in the last race, I got the 5 horse at 20-1. So I got 2 $50 doubles, the 1-4 with the 5 in the last.
So tell us why you were on the 5 at 20-1 in the last race.
I mean, I thought his race 2 starts ago was really nice. I know last time he didn't look a whole lot good, but I mean, it wasn't the best trip in the world. So the field is so, I mean, unless the first starters run, which I'm horrible at first starters. I can't figure them. So I figured he's close enough to the rest of the field that if he's anywhere near that price in the doubles, it's worth it. And plus, I was trying to get to the 1,000 maybe, so I figured I needed a price.
All right, so
I agree with you. I had them marked as my long shot Stones River because I did like them, and just check it on. But I had them 1 for 31 in the mud, so that's why I did all my handicapping thinking of mud. But that's a very good value pick.
Plus, you didn't have a flashing dot there, so you were a little scared there at 20-1.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. On your daily doubles of the 7th, though, 1 and 4.
Yeah, I know. I chalked it up.
That 7th race is the Robert
the 5 horse Roman Centurion in that race. But they gilded me, so I can't use the 5 horse in that race.
That race is our big race of the day. Some implications for the Kentucky Derby, and it's so weird talking about the Kentucky Derby when it just ran like a few months ago. It's like super weird. But in that race, it does start the one of my favorite bets. I know I speak to a lot of handicappers that also love the Golden Hour Pick 4. It's only $1, and the payouts are usually, even with favorites winning, the payouts are excellent in that wager. I love it. It's got a low takeout, and of course you can bet it with first bet. And do you like the Golden Hour Pick 4 there, Craig?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of value in there, and so that's why you got 2 tracks, and it's a great optional bet they came up with, and I guess. Do they still have the daily double there? They
have the Golden Hour double as well, yeah.
Let's throw that in. That was a great thing that the Stoner Group came up with, and it's great value when you can pick 2 different tracks and more tracks. So you can't focus in on just one track, and no problem with that. I like the bet.
Yeah, I mean, one thing nice about that, George, like you mentioned, first of all, the Stronach 4 is $1 bet. And then the Golden Hour double is a $5 bet, and you take the low takeout in as well, and the payouts have been astronomical. Even when it's a chalk fest, especially with this group today, it could still play pretty well. So let's hope we hit it today.
All right, well, look, we're gonna have to do a tiebreaker. So you guys, why don't you look at race?
With all the track, is something's that's gonna us blanking? We don't need the tiebreaker.
Just in the case, that every favorite doesn't win.
Yeah, they dug up the track, and there's going to be some awful big prices out there. Okay, what is the tie-breaking race, George?
Race number 3. So you guys start looking at race number 3 while me and Chappie decide who's going to pick first in that race. So you ready, Chappie?
Yep.
There we go. 1, 2, 3.
I did. You got it. I did.
Oh, I got it. All right. Craig, you get first pick of the tiebreaker. Race number 3. It's the biggest field I can find. Who are you going with in the tiebreaker?
Oh, who's the chalk? I got a full draw there. I got a full draw. I don't even have to look today.
I guess he's going with the 7. I guess
he's only ran 7 times, so and plus it doesn't have to win, does it?
No.
Just has to beat Jim's horse. Go ahead, Jim.
So he got the 7.
What do you want, Jim?
I didn't know we had to do this.
It's just in case you're both at 0 or tied. It's just head to head. Whoever beats the other would move on to the next round.
I got you. I'll take the one on the rail.
Okay. KP all day.
This girl rides awful well, doesn't she?
She's done a very good job. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with. I mean, she seems like she's been riding for years and years out there.
I've seen her nurse some front runners and really get game at the wire. She's really impressed me as well. I always kind of bet apprentices with a little trepidation, but she has done more than her fair share, gotten more than her fair share of winners, and she's looking good. She actually is looking good. Our whole colony, we've got a spectacular colony of jockeys here, and what's really intriguing, I was a jockey agent for 7 years, is their enthusiasm, and they're just nice. I mean, I remember back in the day, we had, there was some jockeys who'd get off a horse, start yelling at a trainer, and another guy, I'm not doing that for you guys. I'm a jockey. I'm not in marketing. I mean, these jockeys have a great attitude, and it's a pleasure to have them doing so well.
Well, I also saw on Miss Pfeiffer, Jessica, that she took Mike Smith went off this mount. I don't know if he got but they put her on, and I could just see, for some reason, I believe she's like they use that extra 7 pounds, and most of the time she gets on a horse, I think they're going to take it, send and go.
Right.
And like it was a 6 furlong race. She came out now a mile, and she won by 2 or 3 lengths that day. So
she's good. And Jim, what about Juanito Hernandez, JJ? Kind of surprising to see him atop the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, who would think the Golden Gate boys are that good? I mean, I say I don't watch Golden Gate, but I mean, there's no doubt he definitely can ride. He's showing that. Yeah, but so it was the deal. He came down, he did the same thing.
Yeah, definitely a changing of the guard around here. And, obviously Pratt and Rispoli, but there's some up and comers, and kind of the old timers are going by the wayside, and we got some new young guns coming in.
And absolutely, those 2 guys you just mentioned are great turf riders. And with Rispolio, I'm probably ruining his name, but Rispolio, how do you say his last name?
Turf, right?
Some say Rispoli, some say Rispoli. Okay, well, he's a tremendous turf jockey too, and they must have went to Toro on the Turf school to learn all that stuff. But great riders on the turf.
Who do you like in the big race today, Craig? Do you got a runner you like? Did you say Roman Centurion?
That was my long shot, a little value there, but he was bred for the mud, and he won that race. He shows he went to 1 mile and 16th. He's definitely bred for, and $550,000 they paid for him. So they got some, and you look at the jockey that's on him. He sticks on him. I think, did he have a pick? Nope, he rode him last time, so he didn't jump off anything to ride him. But I think he's going to be good value at 8-1. And I like the favorite, the 1 horse. Is he the favorite in this race?
He is, yeah.
I always like the favorite, so that goes without saying. I'll throw the 5 in for a little value.
All right, you guys were our favorites. Thank you both very, very much for being on the show. We wish you both the best of luck. One of you will move on to round number 2, and thank you so much for your insight on these runners here today. Chappie, any last words before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I appreciate all the chalk picks from you guys, and no, it was a lot of fun. And Jim, checks in the mail.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for inviting me. I had fun.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
All right.